All right, hello and welcome. Today, we're not just going to stare at charts and numbers. Nope, we're becoming MarTech detectives. We're putting on our virtual trench coats to follow the clues our customers leave online and crack the code of web analytics to figure out what's really going on.
So let me ask you a question, straight up. Is your marketing based on solid evidence, or is it, sometimes just a shot in the dark? A bit of a guess. It's a really common problem, right? We launch these amazing campaigns, we build websites, and we just cross our fingers and hope for the best. But let's be honest, hope is not a strategy.
And this is where the real detective work kicks in. Analytics is the tool that takes us from guessing to knowing. It's the forensic evidence that turns a gut feeling into a cold, hard fact. It's what turns "we think this is working" into "we know this is working because the data says so." Let's get into it. Okay, here's our case briefing for today. First, we'll tackle the case of guesswork to really understand our mission. Then, we'll look at how our forensic techniques have evolved, from dusty old log files all the way to AI. After that, we'll open up the modern detective's toolkit, look at some famous cases that have been cracked, and finally, learn how to connect all those clues to a winning strategy.
First up, the case of guesswork. This is really the heart of the matter, isn't it? Every marketer, and I mean every single one, needs to start thinking like a detective, piecing together clues to understand what people are actually doing instead of just assuming we know.
And I love this quote because it just nails it. Forget the high-speed car chases. Our pursuits are happening across customer journeys and through conversion funnels. And our dashboard? Well, that's our incident room. It's where all the clues from our entire MarTech stack come together to tell us the full story. This is the mindset we need.
So how did we get these incredible investigative powers? Well, let's trace the evolution of our digital forensics. We're going from the absolute stone age of the early web to the high-tech labs we have at our fingertips today.
Back in the 90s, we were literally reading raw server logs. It was slow, clunky, kind of like trying to assemble flat-pack furniture without the instructions. Then, in the 2000s, page tags gave us sessions and goals, which was a huge leap. But now we're in the era of event-based and privacy-first analytics, tracking entire user journeys across different devices, all while respecting their consent. Our tools have seriously grown up.
And what's the payoff for all this evolution? Well, how about this? McDonald's in Hong Kong used a predictive smarts in modern analytics to figure out who was most likely to buy something. They targeted that specific group through their marketing stack and boom, a 550% increase in in-app orders. That is the incredible power of moving from just counting clicks to actually predicting behavior.
Now, every good detective has a toolkit, right? And trust me, ours goes way beyond a magnifying glass. We have a whole range of specialized instruments designed to uncover different types of clues, each one answering a very specific question about our customers.
Okay, so the absolute key to being a great MarTech detective is understanding the two kinds of evidence we're dealing with. First, you have the what. That's your quantitative data. How many people visited? Which pages did they look at? It sets the scene. But the real mystery, that gets solved with the why. That's the behavioral data. Where did they actually click? Where did they get stuck? Why did they leave? That's where the gold is.
So the trick is always using the right tool for the job. Heat maps show us the hotspots on a page where everyone is clicking. Session recordings? They're like having CCTV footage of a user's exact journey. Funnel analysis is brilliant for seeing precisely where we're losing people in, say, the checkout process. And experience analytics, that automatically flags things like errors or rage clicks. When a user gets so frustrated they just hammer the mouse on something that's broken.
Okay, enough theory. Let's look at some real-world cases where these exact tools cracked the mystery and led to some massive wins. This is where it gets really interesting.
So here's our first case file. A major UK bank was seeing customers start an online application, get almost to the end, and then poof, vanish into thin air. Their standard analytics supports had no idea why. A proper whodunit.
So what was the smoking gun? It was found using session replays. The bank's team could literally watch recordings of what was happening, and they found it. A single field in the form was breaking, silently. It was kicking users out with no error message at all. The culprit wasn't a bad product. It was a tiny, hidden bug. Case closed. All right, on to the next case. An online shoe retailer, Intertop. They wanted to boost their conversion rate. Well, they didn't just boost it. They managed a massive 55% uplift. So how on earth did they do it?
They went full Sherlock on this one. They used a combination of methods. They collected physical evidence with heat maps to see what people were looking at and what they were ignoring. They took witness statements using on-site surveys to just ask people what they thought. And of course, they reviewed the CCTV footage, the session recordings, to see the struggles for themselves. A proper investigation that paid off big time.
So, you've gathered the clues, you've solved the mystery. Now what? Well, this is the final and maybe the most critical step, connecting your findings back to the actual business strategy. This is how you go from being a data geek to being a strategic powerhouse.
And at the end of the day, this is the ultimate prize. When you can present your findings, you are no longer operating on a hunch. You can walk into any boardroom and say with total confidence, I know this worked, here is the proof, and here is our data-backed plan to make it even better.
And this is where it all clicks into place. Think of your analytics as the central intelligence hub that makes your entire MarTech stack smarter. The data you find should directly tell your ad platforms where to spend money, show your CMS which pages to fix, and help your CRM build smarter customer segments. And crucially, it gives you the hard evidence you need to justify your budget. It's the nerve center of the whole operation. So, look, if you only remember one thing from our investigation today, please let it be this golden rule. A high bounce rate might look awful, but what if it's on a blog post where the person found the exact answer they needed and left completely happy? Never, ever trust a single metric without context. It's about as reliable as planning a nice barbecue based on the British weather forecast. You're just asking for trouble.
The bottom line is this: your customers are leaving a trail of digital clues across your websites and apps every single day. The evidence is all there, just waiting. The only question is, are you ready to put on that detective hat and start investigating?